I think it's safe to say right now, sports for the most part are, well, kind of a dead fish. But there is some stuff still out there. And we are going to tap into it this week. UFC to MLB to the Cowboys. America's team, of course. Not mine, but yours. And a whole bunch of other stuff. All of that, plus more, coming up. Haystacks and your boy. Here we go.
Roll it.
Welcome to The Point.
Hey everybody, and welcome back once again to another episode of The Point. You already know who the hell we are. That's your man, Haystacks. And this is your boy, Ricky B. Haystacks, this week, the world. Craziness, man. The world is still on fire. Everybody wants to watch the world burn, but hell, here we are to bring it all back to center. Throw the anchor out, slow you down a little bit, and talk about the stuff that the world wants to actually hear about. So, how you been?
Surviving as usual, man. Trying not to get caught up in the old riot scheme and all that good stuff.
Yeah, right there with you, man. Right there with you, as you already know. So, first story, I want to kind of fall into this week. We're going to kind of do things a little bit different this week. We're going to kind of stay away from the point, no point. We're just going to hit the hard facts because everything this week, I don't see anything that's really no point. So it's kind of hard to find that stuff lately.
Yeah, that's a good thing, though. That's a good thing. That means that the news doesn't suck.
True story.
In a sense, it doesn't suck. Most of it sucks, but we're going to talk about it anyway, just to kind of show the stupidity of a certain class of folks.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely good for what we do. Not good for morals, ethics, and safety and values and all that good stuff. But jumping right into it, there's a lot to talk about this week as far as Mark Calloway, otherwise known, a.k.a. The Undertaker with WWE. It's been known for a long time, I think, for most people that are sports entertainment fans or pro wrestling fans, that Mark Calloway, The Undertaker, he's been on borrowed time, so to speak. Most people know by now. If you don't, I'll tell you, he's married to Michelle McCool. He's got several kids from different relationships, and he's got a family, man. He's got a beautiful home with a beautiful plot of land. And I think we'll get into it here in a second, but I think it's kind of been weighing on him the last couple of years, especially with his youngest girl. And watching the Last Ride documentary, and it's been fun to watch. Anytime you see a guy or a legend like The Undertaker, who has never shown you that softer side or let you into his real world, a guy who never breaks, he's old school, he never breaks kayfabe. And to see him open up with the podcast or, the blog, whatever you want to call it, with Stone Cold, that was awesome. It was a really good episode. I was on pins and needles. And then this Last Ride documentary started up at the perfect time. I'm assuming the 5th chapter was the last chapter, but given how they finished it up and everything. But I want to get your opinion on something. Now, I know you haven't seen it, and I don't really want to ruin it for you, although I know you've seen the dirt sheets. You already know what I'm going for here, what I'm going to talk about. So let me go ahead and spit it out, and without giving too much away, you already know the punchline. Apparently, there was a lot of things talked about throughout this Last Ride documentary, and apparently tonight he alluded to the fact that him riding off from his WrestleMania Boneyard match with AJ on that chopper was signaling the end of The Undertaker's career. Now, let me get your opinion on this because we both know how many times he has signaled the end of his career with the Roman Reigns match and the folding his stuff and leaving it in the ring, and then he's right back. So, in many other instances, the streak being broken and blah, blah, blah. What's your opinion on all this? Do you think it's legit this time? Do you think he's finally coming to his senses, or do you think we're going to see another Ric Flair scenario?
I think the only way that he comes back is one match. And if he does, I think that he comes back as the plan was. I believe it was 2 or 3 years ago. He'll come back as the American Badass version of The Undertaker with the bike. I bought the shirt. It was pretty freaking cool concept. I really hate that it got screwed up. It had an American flag sewn on the inside of his trench coat. So when he opened it up, there was a big American flag. He was going to come out to Kid Rock, and then Kid Rock said some stupid stuff, got himself in trouble. They scrapped the entire idea.
Right.
If we get Undertaker versus Sting at WrestleMania, he will have one more match. Otherwise, he's going to be a Stone Cold situation where he pops up once, twice every 2 or 3 years, choke slam somebody, have the whole razzle dazzle, and that's it. It all really, if we ever see him in a ring again, it all really depends on if Sting can officially be cleared by WWE doctors, which I understand he has been.
Sting apparently has been cleared. Okay. Yeah, you take that for what it's worth. All right. Edge was cleared. Daniel Bryan was cleared. There's a lot to be talked about there. There's a lot we can cover there. But I have it on good authority because I read another article, and then I'll touch back. I'm going to kind of swing around, and I'm going to come back to the last ride and what he said. But The Undertaker actually, I read an interview today with The Undertaker where he said that the Sting match will never happen. And the reason he said that Sting match will never happen because he harkens back to Saudi Arabia. He harkens back to Saudi Arabia with Goldberg. Now, we all know that was a botch fest, but we also know why. Goldberg had a concussion. He was out on his feet. So that explains a lot, right? I mean, you can't help that. It happens. But it was botchamania, from beginning to end once that noggin got cracked. And The Undertaker, it revealed a weakness. It showed that The Undertaker was not able to carry that match. And when you have, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know, and wrestling fans around the world, you have to have both participants in this dance because it is a dance. They have to be able, if one is out on his feet, the other one needs to be able to carry him. And that just wasn't the case in Saudi Arabia. And he hearkened back to that and said, I would much rather the fans have the disappointment of that match never happening and letting it play out. I believe the quote he said was, play out in the imaginations of the fans than to actually have that match and screw it up and ruin it for everybody forever. So, and I see where he's coming from, but my opinion, and we've talked about this before, I believe here on The Point, is that simply put, the Boneyard match.
Yes.
Which when you watch the chapter 5 of The Last Ride, you'll see, as he talked about, on video, it looks a lot easier for them to pull off the cinematic style match. And that's, if there's a bright spot to come out of COVID-19 and this whole lockdown fiasco, I think that's it. Because you can have these older guys do this cinematic style stuff without really having to put their body through as much as they would in the ring, per se.
Right.
because as the Undertaker described, and like anybody with common sense knows, you're watching something that's edited together from beginning to end. And we know this from the promo entertainment world. It's, you watch a 3-minute promo, it was probably 30, 45 minutes worth of editing and, getting it right and takes and after take after take, given the situation. It's the same thing with the Undertaker and the Boneyard match. So I think they could pull it off if they did the Boneyard match. And I think it's a great thing. But he said himself today when I was watching, not today, but when I was watching it today in Chapter 5, he said that was the most grueling match. He said they filmed until 5 o'clock in the morning because you film a scene, right? And at one point, without giving too much away for you, he actually swung, he missed, he put his arm through the window of a car and he cut his arm all to hell. And they had to, they got done with the scene and he had to go get all cleaned up, had the glass taken out of his arm. And he said that they had to move all the lighting, of course, right? The cameras and the camera angles and set up for the next shot. And then they piece it all together, of course, when it's over. Yeah. So he said for someone of his age and his stature with all the injuries and surgeries, having to stand around for 30 minutes while they're doing everything, that's hell because your adrenaline's gone. At that point, you are legitimately an actor. It's take after take after take versus getting in the ring and maybe having a Broadway match is what I guess, compare it to, a 60-minute match, which, of course, hell is rare anymore. So that's what he says. That's what he says, that'll never happen. Now, you and I both know from the promo entertainment world, we both know from being pro wrestling fans, never say never, especially when it comes to the WWE. So
we already know that if ratings keep tanking and Vinnie Mac hits up the Undertaker, Mark Calloway, and says, buddy, we need you. We need you to save this show. The Undertaker, Mark Calloway, has said it numerous times. He is a company man. He is a locker room leader. And if he gets that call from Vince and he says, I know you said never, but we need this match to save WrestleMania, his ass is going to be on a freaking plane. And he's going to be hobbling to that damn ring to put on some kind of a damn show, no matter what.
True story. And he actually alluded to that as well. And again, I'll move on from this, but to keep from spoiling it for you and anybody else out there who hasn't seen Chapter 5, he actually alluded to that as well. He said, along the lines of, show up to save a show, if they need me, to choke slam somebody or, just a little razzmatazz, whatever. But I actually I just found a source here and I want to read his words to you real quick regarding the Sting situation. The Undertaker was asked, what do you say to fans who to this day still hold out hope for a match between you and Sting? This was his response in his own words. Quote, well, in this world, you never say never. But I think as great as it sounds on paper, and it does, I mean, obviously that's a super marquee match, right? But where I kind of differ from a lot of people is I look past the marquee value and I look at the ability to deliver. Obviously, they're both broken down at this point. So like you said, there's so many people that are clamoring for that match that I just don't know that match could deliver on people's expectations. He went on to say, the only reason I say that is I take full responsibility. I don't have the mobility or the same skill set that I once did that I would need to make that a great match. So there's just certain things that's better left to the theater of the mind to actually put it out, than putting it out there. Then with the expectations being so high, of course, he goes on and on, but you get the gist of it. You have to, from a fan's perspective, do you want to see that match? Hell yeah. I want to see it. I mean, everybody knows I'm a Sting mark from hell. Yeah, you damn right I want to see it. But I think there's a lot of truth and I think there's a lot of maturity to what he's saying. I mean, I'm sure those words didn't taste real good coming out of his damn mouth. And that's what lends me to believe that maybe he is done, at least with, although he hasn't been full-time, so I can't say full-time, but that leads me to believe he's done with this part-time, full-time. That makes sense. With the yearly big shows, because I don't know if you noticed, he was just doing WrestleManias. And then it was Saudi Arabia in WrestleManias. And then it was a Monday Night Raw. And then it was a, Extreme Rules. So, and then he did the thing with Kane.
I think he takes a year off, maybe 2. Because what we got coming up, we got WrestleMania 30, is it 38?
I'm not sure the number, but it's coming.
I'm pretty sure that WrestleMania 40 is coming up here soon.
Right.
I look for him to take a year or 2 off, and then the next big benchmark WrestleMania, he pops up and they have that damn match.
I would not be surprised in the least. I just hope that if they do, they keep it simple. Can you imagine the build-up?
The build-up would be ridiculous.
The story.
Story would be redonkulous.
That would go down, I believe, as probably the best feud. Because I think the only thing that would scare me about it is that they pull a John Cena Rock, where there's, all right, man, you're going to go over this year, then I'm going to go over next year, and then we're going to tag up in between somewhere, and they're going to try to milk it. And you know how it works. They're going to try to milk it for everything it's worth. Let that shit be a one-off. And for the love of God, can we give Sting a win? I mean, is that asking too much, for Christ's sake? So, lots of,
He just
again,
had 36, by the way. So this coming March is going to be 37.
37. Okay, gotcha. So
it takes 3 years off. Now, here's the thing: they could do a traditional wrestling match with those two, and make it a damn I Quit match, career versus career I Quit match. You got the Hell's Gate Triangle Choke versus the Deathlock.
how would you like to see? You remember the curtain pulled back, fourth wall broke, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker. Just didn't give a shit. They broke character. Kayfabe was gone, and they held each other and helped each other up the ramp, and the crowd was going nuts. I want you to picture in your mind, if you will, and everybody watching, I want you to picture in your mind. It's all said and done. These guys have given their entire lives to 2 different companies. They put it all on the line. Good, solid 20, 25-minute match with one of the biggest, most hellacious stories you've ever seen in professional wrestling, with all the backstory, with the promo ability of these 2. The characters, so similar in nature. One, obviously, a hell of a lot bigger than the other one as far as physical stature. That Hell's Gate, the Scorpion Deathlock, the Scorpion Death Drop, the Stinger Splash, Snake Eyes, old school. Picture that shit. It's all said and done. Sting's face paint half gone off his face. The Undertaker can barely stand up. A winner's declared. The bell rings. The crowd's going nuts. They help each other up. They walk to the top of the ramp, arm around each other, waving at all the fans, barely able to stand, legitimately almost fainting. They get to the top of the ramp. Sting turns around. Taker stays facing away. Taker raises his hand. Lightning strikes as Sting yells. Woo, woo. Fade to black. Just saying.
Now here's my final question. Does WWE go traditional, or do they shock the world and bring back the original Stinger?
Oh no, no, they'll never do that. Hell, Sting's hairline won't allow that. Hey, brother Steve, I know you're out there. You probably ain't watching this show. I hope you are. But I met you. We had a good laugh about that at the Dorton Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. But yes, Surfer Sting is dead. But that would make for a hell of a memory, though, wouldn't it?
You see Taker coming out there with that trench coat, coming out the Kid Rock, and then here comes Sting with the red, white, and blue face paint one more time.
Oh, man, that would be insane. But I'm fanboying it up now. So, again, a lot to talk about with The Undertaker, and we spent a lot of time on that. So we got one more subject to cover. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll get right back into it. But you sent me this article, and there's a whole lot with the world that's going on now. Man, nothing makes any sense. Shit's upside down. Everybody's going nuts. Everything's going crazy. They're burning shit down left and right. And of course, everybody's being accused of everything under the sun. Apparently, if I'm drinking out of a stainless steel Yeti here, and I'm sure somebody would have a problem with that. Yeti's only got 4 letters in it. It's an even number, and they don't like that. So I'd probably be arrested for murder or some shit. But
with it.
I bet you do.
Yeti dropped their sponsorship for the NRA.
Well, I guess I won't be drinking out of this no more. So I don't know how much you dug into this, but I'm gonna get right into it. There's a lot of wrestlers, pro wrestlers, entertainers and other figures around the world that have been accused of sexually abusing people and harassing people. Most of which turns out to be complete and total. I'm just going to call it what it is, bullshit. Okay? Well, apparently Jim Cornette and his wife, and it's not funny, but I'm trying to wrap my head around this shit. Jim Cornette and his wife have been accused of grooming OVW talent and trading sex and sexual favors for TV time, more namely his wife, the physical sexual favors, which I'll get into in a minute. And for those of you let me preface this real quick. OVW, before there was an FCW, OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling, was actually the training, quote unquote, was the training grounds for WWE before NXT, which pushed through the likes of the Randy Ortons, the John Cenas, the Batistas, the Brock Lesnars, and I can go on and on and on and on. So definitely a lot of respect and love for OVW for what they put out there. But during Jim Cornette's tenure, apparently, from sources, Cornette and his wife, more namely his wife, would approach some of these young wrestlers and basically force themselves on these wrestlers. And apparently Jim Cornette, according to these people, allegedly, these people would have sex with his wife while Mr. Cornette watched. And if they refused, then of course they were denied TV time, and they were denied big storylines and denied what we call as wrestling marks. I'll call it what it is, or in an entertainment business as a push. So what are your thoughts on all this? Because I'm sure you read about this a little bit as well. You think this is legit, or you think this is somebody looking for their 5 seconds?
My personal opinion, I think it's crock. And I could be completely wrong. If I am, then I will not be pleased. As most people know, and I think we've brought it up here on the show before, I'm fairly good friends with Jim Hines, a.k.a. Bobby Fulton, a.k.a. of the Fantastics with Tommy Rich, who are...
Cancer's ass, by the way.
Pardon?
Kick Cancer's ass, by the way.
Right, he did. Damn right he did. I also went to school with his son, Dylan. So, as everybody knows, Jim Cornette and Bobby Fulton are very good friends. as everybody knows, Jim Hines, Bobby Fulton, is a very, very, very godly and religious man. If you follow him on Facebook, you see pretty much every day his faith put on full display. And I've heard stories. I went to a show a couple years ago. It was actually Bobby's retirement match. He was telling stories about how he would stay at Jim Cornette's place and everything when they had nowhere to go when they first got started out. If anything like that were going on, I have a very strong belief that Bobby Fulton would have been one of the first people to stand up and say, hey, this is going on, this is wrong, this is against my beliefs. I right along with Tommy Rich, because Tommy Rich was the exact same way. I don't see Bobby Fulton ignoring that kind of situation, having the faith that he does.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Knowing the character that Fulton has, the only thing that hangs me up about this, that makes me think there might be some realism to this, even if Cornette's not involved, maybe his wife was, because it seems to be more centered around her than it does him. But the only thing that lends me to believe that this is somewhat legit is how many people are speaking on it. Let me read a little bit of this to you real quick. A former OVW developmental talent who goes by the Twitter user name @AKI_evolution, his real name Phil Early. He published accusations of Cornette and his wife Stacy grooming talent in OVW to join them in sexual encounters. His first sets of tweets, because that's what happens now. If you've been sexually assaulted, you have to tweet about it. Not call the police, but tweet, because police are Satan. But we'll get to that in a minute. He says, quote, I made a very vague post yesterday about the @Jim Cornette. In the face of current events, I feel the need to clarify and speak up. During my first year in the business, his wife Stacy attempted to groom me. She approached him via DM, sent lewd photos I never asked for, implied protection from the Kentucky Commission stating he was a family friend, and told me she was going to F me as if I didn't have a choice. My experience with them is a tame one compared to others, though, alluding to the fact that other OVW talent had far worse encounters. He said when Jim was booking at OVW, if you wanted a contract or on his show, you had to perform sexual acts on his wife many times with him watching. And this has happened for many, many people. He says, he goes on to say, a close friend of mine was groomed and basically brainwashed by them for years. When he finally escaped, Stacy went to great lengths to not only terrorize him, but to actively try to have other wrestlers physically assault him. Now, it sounds like a hell of a lot of detail. But if you're on the investigating side, if there is an investigating body, and he can produce these DMs and he can produce these pictures, and, we live in a culture that I find absolutely hilarious. That somebody can send a text message. Everything's through text now, and email, and DMs, and voice messages. It's really hard to run from your mistakes. So if it happened, by God, there's proof of it out there. So I don't know how much truth there is to it.
Just out of my own curiosity.
Oh, he released screenshots. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. I'm looking at it right now.
Because I was sitting here thinking, I was like, man, OVW, John Cena's been wrestling for 20 years. We didn't have DMs 20 years ago.
Wow. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see these screenshots, go follow capital letters AKI, capital E, Evolution, AKI space Evolution. Again, capital letters AKI. I can't tell you anymore. You need to go check this out for yourself. Form your own opinions. AKI space Evolution, but capital E. Check it out. If I get a chance, I'll throw it down here at the bottom of the screen. I can't read these on the air, so we'll leave that there. Wow, I'm
Well, color me damn wrong.
It doesn't take much. I mean, it takes quite a bit to make me blush. So I think that's a good time to take a break because I think I need to go step outside in the cool air for a minute. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for staying tuned. We're going to take a little break and we're going to come right back on the flip and we're going to have some damn more fun. See you in a second.
Join us next week for another action-packed episode of The Point.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. I'm fresh off my cold shower. Got my head right. Everything's calmed back down now. I think I got my blood pressure back right. I'm telling you, though, everybody go over to Twitter. Go read them. But jumping right back in, Haystacks, again, with the culture we're living in right now, remember we talked about this last week and about the UFC and really any MMA about the concussions and the stuff like that and how it's a big deal in the NFL, but it's not such a big deal in MMA. It's just kind of understood. You get in the octagon, you get your ass kicked, and well, whatever happens, happens. Parkinson's be damned. Well, story broke this week that okay. Just looking at a little deal here. But there's a story that broke that I run across that you sent me, actually, of a UFC coach ignoring his fighters' pleas to stop the fight. And the NSAC set to investigate these allegations, of course, and apparently justifiably so. Now, look, there's a whole culture that comes along with MMA. These guys are warriors, okay? But some people, I'm not going to say any names, CM Punk, they try to get into MMA, Batista, and they just ain't cut out for it. I don't know if you picked that up, but I've been trying to clear my throat. Got a frog. It's just it's whole big thing. But please excuse me. Some of these guys get into the MMA, and God bless them for trying it, man. Okay, it's contact sports, especially MMA. It's not for everyone. This particular case, it looks to me like this kid probably shouldn't be in MMA. He's a little bitty joker. But let me give you some background here. Nevada State Athletic Commission, again, NSAC, said it would look into a controversial sequence of events that occurred during Saturday's UFC fight between, I can't even pronounce this guy's name. I'm not going to try to. So his name, Max, and then Austin Hubbard. The guy's last name spelled Rohskopf, Roskopf.
He's a guy.
Yeah. So apparently he took short notice to fight against Hubbard, 5 days, and repeatedly told his chief cornerman, Robert Drysdale, to end the fight going into the third and final round. Of course, Drysdale refused to heed the fighter's words, which, of course, there's interaction. The video it's on the internet for everyone to check out. But look, man, it's like this. Who the hell are you? Okay. If I'm getting my ass kicked and I know that I can't withstand anymore, and I say, Haystacks, pull the plug, or if the vice versa, you're getting your ass kicked and you know that you're in grave danger of very serious injury because you're just outmatched, and you say, Rick, pull the plug, who the hell am I to ignore you and send your ass back out there? Now, is this bravado? Do you see this as a coach's almost like a pep talk, not letting him give up on himself? Or do you see that, what if the guy went back out there and he was killed?
I want to see the rest of the tape because it cuts off right at the end. I'm siding with the coach on this one because he's got the kid in the corner. He's giving him the pep talk, you know. He's not sitting here saying, "Oh, you're a bitch." He's sitting here telling you, you're a champion. You're a warrior. You can do this. He's trying to build this dude up. And when the referee comes to the corner, that's when they cut it off. The referee says, does he want to continue? And it sounded to me like right before they cut it off, the coach turns around and says, no, he says he's done. And they conveniently cut that last portion off like they do certain other people in the world that may or may not have a very important job in a certain place of the world and try to create a whole new narrative for the situation. So I would really like to see, you know, the final portion of that interaction, because I watched the video a couple times to make sure that I heard what I heard. And I mean, yes, the kid did ask him 9 times to call the fight, and he tried to build him up. But when the referee, when it came bell time, and the referee came over, he said, does he want to continue? I'm pretty sure that I heard the coach say no. He says he's done.
Right.
I think people are trying to do this whole
spinning, victimization.
correct bull stuff.
Right.
Try to make this guy the bad guy without seeing the entire freaking tape. Never mind. Let's watch the whole damn tape before we form a freaking opinion and crucify this guy for crying out loud.
What? Watch the whole tape. The hell fun is that? Hey,
Get me out of here before I start going on a damn political rant and get somebody's ass in a sling.
Hey, we got all the time in the world. We're going to get into some political shit here in just a minute. But you and I both played football, okay? You played a hell of a lot more than I did. How many people on the football field want to quit when they're not during the game? Practice. It's 100 degrees outside. You're doing 2-a-days. You're puking. There's guys puking. There's people passing out. How many football coaches have you ever seen back in our time? They said, oh, my God, poor baby. Somebody get him a pillow and a blanket and some crayons. That shit didn't happen. What the hell is wrong with you puking on my football field? Now, was some of it too extreme? Yeah, okay. But I turned out just fine. You turned out just fine. So, let me give you his words.
Back then, because we had a coach that was just like that. He was our football coach and our basketball coach. And you would run wind sprints until you puked, till everybody puked. That was the rule. So we got smart before we went to practice. We went down to the corner store, and all of us together on the team, we went and bought like 4 dozen eggs. And all of us cracked a couple quick eggs in our mouth and then went to practice. That way we'd run 45 minutes or so, freaking heave everywhere. We were done. You gotta, instead of whining and complaining, use that brain bucket and find a loophole, dummy.
Like my dad said back in the day, use that thing for something other than growing hair. So in his own words, Drysdale told ESPN, I stand by what I did, and I expect excellence from the people I trained because I loved them. He wasn't seriously hurt, and I felt he needed a mental push. I would expect the same thing from my coach. We will be back. Max is a champion. So there you go. That's what it is.
That I want to make also, and we made this point with the whole Jessica I situation. I want to see the fight and see if the kid was really getting the crap kicked out of him, or if he just didn't have enough time and he was gassed because he only had 5 days to prepare for the freaking match, and he was just tired. That's a whole different narrative right there too, and that again falls on Dana White. Us coming from the promo entertainment world, we understand, dude. You advertise a fighter going to be there, and somebody doesn't show up. We understand. It pissed us off too. It's a pain in the ass. But at the same time, there's times where you have to bite the bullet, give the guy the win for a no-show to preserve the health and well-being of your fight.
Right.
So I also want to watch the fight and see how the fight went down. If the coach again was completely in the right, but if he couldn't defend himself and was getting the crap beat out of him, yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'd like to see the rest of it myself, but I think it's a non-starter, man. I think it's a non-issue. I think it's only an issue because of the culture we live in now. That's really the only issue I should see. It's not like the kid was injured. It's not like he was there on his own accord. Nobody put a weapon to his head to get him there. So moving on.
He was coherent enough to call the match 9 times.
There you go. So, I mean, it's pretty mute point. So, moving on, the next story to make the rounds with the shit that's going on today is Gerald McCoy. Yeah, calling out Jerry Jones on his silence, because apparently now if you refuse to jump on a bandwagon either direction, you are in and of itself, that makes you just as guilty as all the racists and the bad people in the world. So what's your feelings on this whole situation? Because you have a lot to say about this particular issue, and I want to hear it.
First off, God, trying to put my words together to not sound like a complete jerk, but at the same time,
that's great. Amazing.
That of what this whole situation is.
I mean, simply put, he just said, calling him out for his silence, saying, quote, it doesn't look good. And I can see.
First of all, I'm embarrassed that Gerald McCoy, along with, I'll go ahead and say it now, Baker Mayfield, were part of the University of Oklahoma. Secondly, if Gerald McCoy, apparently, because we don't remember things, we don't remember things past yesterday, Gerald McCoy should probably pay attention, because the last time this issue came up, Jerry Jones was the only owner that went down on the field, locked arms with his players, and knelt before and after the national anthem in solidarity with his players. So why does Jerry Jones have to keep reiterating his point? He's made it perfectly on national television. It wasn't on ESPN. It was on Monday Night Football on Fox. It was national TV. He made his statement with his team, the only owner that did such a thing.
Many times. So
Gerald McCoy, shut up. Why ain't you calling out what's his name? And I'm not saying this, to pick any certain person out, but why aren't you saying this about old boy that owns AEW and the Jacksonville Jaguars? It doesn't fit the narrative.
I ain't touching that because he ain't the enemy. So moving on down the tracks just a tad, because my whole take on this Gerald McCoy, it's not Gerald McCoy, this particular situation. It's gotten to the point in this country that you can't just get up, go do your job, come home, have a family, cook a meal, sit down and eat, watch some TV, and take your ass to the shower, wash your ass, get into bed, kiss your wife and your kids, or your husband and your kids, and get your ass into bed, do your particulars, whatever the hell you're going to do, and go to sleep and get up and do it all over again. No. You have to get up and have an opinion. And you have to tell everybody your opinion. And then it went from telling everybody your opinion to, if you don't agree with my opinion, you are an asshole. And then it went from, you are an asshole to, I'm going to burn your shit to the ground and I'm going to beat the hell out of you. I'm going to rape you. I'm going to set your ass on fire. I'm going to tear down everything that you know and love. And, you know, we could get into this. We could get into this 100 different ways. But again, not talking about this, this specific situation with McCoy and Jones, but this cancel culture, this victimization, everybody has to be a victim. It's like a game to see who's more woke than the next one. It makes no sense to me. I just saw something a minute ago, and I have to speak on it. And I'm gonna give a shout out to them. If y'all don't like me, you know we love the blue line here. We back the blue here. We back common sense. We back conservatives when they're right. We call them out when they're wrong. We back liberals when they're right. We call them out when they're wrong, which is usually 99.999% of the damn time. I'll just call the shit like it is. But Mike the Cop, Facebook personality and social media influencer. You're going to see a lot of that with the NCAA, the college, and then the court ruling and all that shit, which you will see will be a cluster before it's all said and done. Now, Mike the Cop comes out and he says, just a little bit ago, I saw it. I just had to scroll past it and caught it. Me and you share this GIF file back and forth all the time. It's kind of an inside joke between me and you because ride or die, we've always had each other's back. We always have each other's back. And the GIF is simply put Forrest Gump and Bubba in the forest of Vietnam in the pouring rain, back against back. White man, black man, two different cultures. And I know it's a movie. I know it's not real, but it's happening, but you don't see it. It's not reported on. People are getting along. It just doesn't sell, okay? These two, back to back. Bubba looks at Forrest and he says, simply put, you lean against me and I'll lean right back against you. That way we don't have to sleep with our heads in the mud. Can we not pull our heads out of our asses long enough to get past religion, color, creed? Who's more woke than the other one? You know why we can't, Haystacks? You know why this country can't do that? It's deeper than that. It's a lot deeper than that because you've seen it and I've seen it in the promo entertainment world. It's boring. How long does it take in the promo entertainment world before shit gets stirred up and people start talking shit? It don't take long, does it? It's the same thing. In this world we live in, everything's so instantaneous. You remember when me and you were kids? And there was something you were looking forward to the weekend. It could be something as simple as renting a Nintendo game. Okay? The shittiest Nintendo game of all time, like Lawnmower game or some shit. You look forward to that shit. You had something to look forward to. Now, with the way the world is, simply put, if you wanted to look at something, like you wanted to buy something, and I'm just as guilty as anybody else. I don't have to wait for it. I don't have to find a store. I don't have to drive there. I go click, 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 boom, and it's at my house in not 1 day or 2 days earlier. It's the same thing with these people. Everything is so instantaneous. Nothing's fun anymore. There's no anticipation anymore. You know, and again, I know I keep alluding to the promo entertainment world. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. But everything's instantaneous. There is no anticipation. And what we do, just like in the pro wrestling and pro sports entertainment world, anticipation sells. If you don't believe me, just watch. I mean, the next time I can talk forever about this, but I just think people are so bored with their own lives. First and foremost, get a damn job. Find something to do. Keep yourself busy. But yeah, I'm gonna get off my damn soapbox. Give the floor back to you.
Oh, I mean, I said it a couple weeks ago, and it's been ignored. So there's no real point in even rehashing all that because nobody wants to see and nobody wants to do good, and that's the problem with the world. There's three things. If people really want to change, there's three things that we need in this world. Four things, maybe. I don't know. I can't count. But anyway, I just want to start listing shit off. Number one, shut off your damn phones and your TVs. Number two, find freaking Jesus. Number three, go start having freaking cookouts and dinner with your friends and your family again. And the most important, and I know this is a foreign concept, if you're 29 or younger, if you disagree with somebody, shake their hand and hug them and say, you know what? Thank God we live in a damn country where we don't have to be forced to think the same damn way or be shot.
Yet.
It's okay to disagree. Sometimes it's difficult. Believe me, back behind the scenes, me and this guy right here, we've tried to come up with stuff for this show that we can intentionally argue on. There's too much shit that we agree on. It's impossible. So we try to get loud and animated and crazy to try to keep people entertained because we don't have nothing to argue about. We've tried.
It blows my mind, man. It really does. And, you know, this show will evolve. And from time to time, you know, there'll be things we purposefully argue about, you know, things to, you know, kind of bring attention to the show, just to show a couple of different viewpoints and to show that people can disagree and get along. But yeah, you said it best, and I don't know how else to word it any better, that it's okay to disagree with people and not hate each other. It's okay to disagree with people and not kill each other. And better yet, it's okay to disagree with each other without burning your own shit to the ground.
If anybody doesn't believe it, follow me on Facebook. Name Scotty Newland. I've got quite a few friends that are very good friends of mine that I argue with daily. And we don't hate each other.
Yep. Pretty damn heated, too.
Because I'm over the age of 30 and I remember there was this one thing in this country that was called respect. You go over to your bookshelf, there's a book, it's about this thick. It says Merriam-Webster on it. It's called a dictionary. You flip that son of a bitch back to the R's. It's about the fifth page. Respect. Aretha Franklin even did a song about it. It was so freaking important.
Good song.
Look it up. Try it.
Good song. But yeah, shout out to all the people out there not losing their shit. Shout out to all the people out there that are standing their ground and believing in what they're saying and meaning what they say and saying what they mean, I guess is the best way to put it. So hopping back down off my soapbox, Looking at the time, see, we got one more time for one more issue. And I think it's a very important topic, and we may go a little over time on this because I'm kind of passionate about this, and it may surprise you a little bit. So, Major League Baseball. Everybody knows I'm not the biggest baseball fan in the world. I've never really understood the fascination with it. Yeah, I know. Point is what? Gmail.com. Hit me up if you got a problem with it.
That is un-American, sir.
Yeah. It's about as un-American as not eating a hot dog, I guess. But, I enjoyed playing baseball, but when it's like golf, playing it, watching it, it's two different things. Well, I mean, golf sucks. It sucks ass all the way around. I'm just going to be honest with you. I think it's stupid as the hell, but people enjoy it. So, again, I can disagree and not like it without being an asshole, right? Or so the theory goes. So, Major League Baseball, let me just get into it. This whole coronavirus, COVID-19, mask, everybody wear a mask. Oh, wait a minute. No, go riot and tear shit up. It's cool. The Major League Baseball, they start coming back a little too fast, right? Because whether you believe the coronavirus is bad, whether you believe it's just kind of like, whatever, it's there, it is what it is. I personally believed, here we are, we have a sports show. You wouldn't know it by listening to us tonight, but, it's a sports show. And obviously, I want sports to come back. You want sports to come back. We want to see it 100% going wide ass open, but when it can be done correctly. I don't want to see nothing half-assed. Nobody wants to see anything half-assed. I don't want to see WrestleMania at the training facility. I don't want to see the damn Super Bowl played at, Hillcrest Park down the road. I want to see shit the way it's supposed to be. So if you can't open it back up correctly, again, you're talking about player safety. Okay, this harkens back again to like the concussion thing between the NFL and MMA and the disconnect. If it's shitty over here, it's shitty over here. There is no in between. So MLB decides, all right, we're going to have training. We're going to go do this and we're going to go do that. And we're going to do it. And next thing you know, COVID-19 outbreaks all over hell and creation. And now they have to rethink the whole process. And now they're shifting spring training workouts to their home ballparks, nowhere else. And hell, it's not just MLB. Tampa Bay Bucks, the home of Tom Brady and Gronkowski now. They had an outbreak with Tampa Bay Bucks. And I mean, I could go down the list of shit. It's too fast, okay? It's too damn fast, and it's unfortunate because there is no right answer. So far be it for me to chastise anyone far richer and far smarter than me, I'm sure. But how the hell did we go from the world is coming to an end? If you leave your house, you will die. To, all right, guys, let's play some ball. Let me tell you why. The riots. Everybody's watching the riots, and they go, and I got a point I'm going to make here in a second for all the liberals that are out there watching that are going to say, oh, whoa, wait a minute. I got something for your ass. Now, they see the riots going on, and everybody's standing shoulder to shoulder. These some bitches have been wearing masks. Antifa's been wearing masks because they're too they're too
pussified.
There you go, thank you. To show their face to begin with. So they already had their mask ready and handy. But you see all these people out here, they're rioting and all this stuff. You don't know. The news ain't going to report how many people have passed COVID-19 between themselves and all this other stuff. So it becomes mainstream. It becomes the liberal, not the liberal, but the thinking. And it's like, all right, look, it's obvious that we're not all going to die. Let's go ahead and get this. If you don't think the coronavirus kills people, I want you to go up to New York and fumble back through film footage of all the damn refrigeration trucks and trailers that they had to stack bodies in to keep them son bitches from rotting. I mean, it's Not everybody. It's just a certain demographic of people. We're talking weakened immune systems and shit like that. So this is an issue, but it's not going to kill everybody. But, there is no right or wrong answer. I just don't understand why in the hell, okay, at one point, the damn world's coming to an end, and 5 seconds later, it's like, all right, let's just go back to doing whatever the hell we want to do. Like, there's got to be some kind of a system in place. And I know here in North Carolina, our dipshit governor decided he was going to do this tier system, right? Phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 3. They're all the same shit, but they're only a couple of weeks apart. What do you think? The coronavirus, it didn't show up overnight. It was gradual, man. I mean, you remember when the shit first hit the news, it was like, oh my God, there's 1,000 cases confirmed in America. The world's coming to an end. Hell, it's in the millions. And now we think it's okay. So anyway, enough of that. I'd get off my damn soapbox, but the point I wanted to make, and yeah, I know if you don't like it because it's politics, get the hell off the damn YouTube channel. Donald Trump has a rally. Yeah, damn Skippy. Donald Trump. I'm a supporter to the day I die. If you don't like me, fuck off. So it's like this. Donald Trump has a rally. Everybody loses their shit. Oh, COVID-19. You can't do that. Hell, they had to battle to keep this rally. But just outside, just a state or two over, people are showing their unmitigated asses, shoulder to shoulder, fighting for the cause. You can't make this shit up, Haystacks.
No, I'm going to say this, and it might piss some people off. I really don't care. If you watch the media, okay, and you're seeing thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people nationwide, Seattle, Minnesota, Columbus, Ohio, right here. You're seeing thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people. And the news is like, wow, this is great. This is fantastic. And then the very next night, the news breaks. Oh my God, 6. Not 5, not 10, not 20, not 3, but 6. Very specific number, 6. 6 Trump staffers test positive hours before. Conveniently, this rally takes place. If you believe that, please do the world a favor. Run you a nice cold bath. Get comfortable, candlelight, the whole 9. A little bit of strawberries, fondue. Sit in your tub. Lay back.
Non-binary tub.
Absolutely. When the water goes over your head, take in the biggest, deepest breath you possibly can. Because you are too stupid to mingle with society if you believe that.
There's a whole lot out there in the world right now that people do believe. That stupid is an understatement. Ignorant is an understatement.
You honestly believe that the freaking president of the United States of America has six, very specific, 6 people travel across the entire effing country from Washington freaking D.C. to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and 2 hours before a rally, they're like, 6 people they test positive. kiss my ass.
Yeah.
Not
So
going to happen. It's not possible. It's not logical. They're not going to put 6 people on the freaking plane with the president of the damn United States to fly across the freaking country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Y'all are stupid.
I think Ron White said it best, man, with all of this stuff. First and foremost, Rodney King and Ron White. The 2 best phrases I've ever heard in my life. Can't we all just get along? I don't give a damn what color you are, what your profession is. Down with assholes and up with hope. And Ron White said it simply, you can't fix stupid.
There ain't been a screwdriver been the world big enough to fix stupid.
And I got some big ones. I do. I got some really big ones, but I swear to you, they're nowhere near big enough. So with that being said, that is another great episode in the books. This week, the duty falls on your shoulders, my friend, to lower the boom and drop the point on the Point Nation. And the floor is yours. Please get your soapbox out, do your stretches, climb up on that sumbitch, get your fan going. Hey, the countdown has begun. All hell will break loose soon enough.
PSA, anybody that watches beyond this point, this is not meant for sensitive ears or small children.
You heard it right here. So with that being said, it's time to roll. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been your boy Ricky B, and it's time for Haystacks to drop the point. So I'm getting the hell out of here. The floor is yours. As always, you know I love you, man. But I'm going to look forward to this one. See you next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, another week has gone by, and yet again here we are. No matter how stupid, no matter how ridiculous, no matter how monotonous it is, we're still here. The point of this week, everybody quit being so freaking stupid. For the love of God. Everybody in the nation right now. You have Hulu, you have Netflix, you have Cody, whatever. Go on your TV, pull up Red Fox, pull up Sanford and Son, pull up some Archie Bunker, pull up some Al Bundy, Married with Children. Pull up some of these shows and listen to what these guys are saying. And everybody laughed. It was funny. You take yourself too serious. You take the whole world too serious. You're going to be miserable. And that's where you're at right now. You're all a bunch of miserable, whiny ass people that don't want to have fun. And you want to ruin everybody else's fun while you're at it. As you guys can clearly see, you're not going to ruin our fun. We're still going to be here. We're still going to be rocking. Almost 1,000 subscribers. Well over 5,000 view hours. In just a very short amount of time. It's at the point now to where you either have fun and enjoy yourself, or for the love of God, go hide in your room, go hide in your cry closet, and leave the rest of us the hell alone, because we're sick of dealing with you. I mean, if we're sick of dealing with you, you have got to be sick of dealing with yourself. For God's sakes, laugh, have fun, enjoy your time. The time we have here is very short. Why spend it being a complete asshole? Until next week, have fun.
Thank you for watching The Point.
Goodbye, cruel world.